Hi everyone, welcome to today's Lunchtime Flow. As always with these classes, if you have any injuries, anything that is particular about your practice that I might not know about, please take it easy. If you have any questions at the end, please send me a little message. I'm always happy to answer them. And it's also donation based, so this is my full-time job at the moment. If you are able to, there's a PayPal link in the side of the screen for any donations. They're very welcome. We are going to get started today in a child's pose. So coming onto your mat, big toes together to touch, knees nice and wide. Let your seat bones sink down towards your heels, forehead comes onto the floor. It's always nice to just start the practice, especially a practice in the middle of the day, by just coming down onto your mat. Connecting to your breath, connecting to your mat beneath you. So let's start by taking a few big sighs. Nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Do that again, big breath in. Let all of your body just relax, melt down into the floor. And then start to engage your ujjayi breath, so in and out through the nose, making that audible sound. And today I want you to really focus on using your breath to just clear anything out of your mind that you don't need to be thinking about right now. You don't need to be worrying about right now. Allow your breath guide your movement. Staying in your child's pose, you're going to slot your right arm underneath your left. So you're coming onto the right shoulder here. You can choose if you either come onto your right cheek or if you stay on your forehead if that feels good. I'm just getting a gentle stretch through the right shoulder. And maybe as you reach your left fingertips forwards, you feel a bit of a stretch along the left side as well. Keep that ujjayi breath going. Maybe you can feel your stomach expand on your thighs. Maybe you can even feel the back of your ribcage, the back of your lungs start to expand. Make your way back through center. And then we'll go on the other side, so reaching that left arm underneath the right, coming down onto the left shoulder, either the left cheek or the forehead rests on the mat. Right fingertips reaching forwards. So we're looking for a nice stretch along the left shoulder, maybe a little bit along that right arm too if you reach the right fingertips forwards. Straight away we're just dropping into the present moment, using our breath, using these movements in our yoga practice to really tune into that mind and body connection. Coming back through center, and then lift yourself up onto hands and knees. Tabletop, so hands are below shoulders, knees are hip width apart. And spread your fingers wide on the mat. Press down with each fingertip, each knuckle pad, and then also here, think about pressing down with the tops of the feet. So you can feel that engagement in the core. From here, we're going to just take some rotations around the wrists. So nice big slow circles, moving your weight up and around over the wrists, starting to warm them up. Make sure you keep pressing down with each fingertip here. And feel free to add in any other sort of twist or turn with the whole spine if that feels good, sort of like a sideways cat-cow. And we're going to change direction, so wherever you are, just gently starting to move the other way. And bring yourself to stillness. So walk your left fingertips towards the left, right towards the right. Again, make sure fingers are spread as wide as you can here. We're going to just sway from side to side. Keep the core muscles pulled in and up. And really notice where the weight in the hands is. So you don't want to be just pressing down with the heel of the hand, but also with the fingertips and the knuckle pads. Check in with the thumb. Make sure you're not leaving the thumb out. And you're going to come to stillness here. Walk your fingertips back towards you. And for some of you, this might feel quite intense, so feel free to just stay still. Notice what's going on with the feet. So keep with that engagement, keep pressing the tops of the feet down. And then you can choose if you stay in stillness or start to take a little rock backwards and forwards. You might find that your range of motion here feels a little bit limited, a little bit difficult. But just go into it as much as you can. Last one like that, and then release it back on your heels and take a couple of rotations with the wrists, maybe even with the shoulders. Just starting to warm yourself up. We're going to stay seated. You can either stay kneeling or if cross-legged works better for you, go ahead and cross your legs. We're not going to be here for too long, so don't worry. Interlace your fingers and reach them forwards. And as you reach forwards, really press forwards and find a rounding in the back. So think about your cat and cow pose that we often take at the beginning of class. Think about cow. So you're pressing forwards, maybe even tuck your chin slightly towards your chest and find that rounding through the back. As you inhale, start to lift your arms, open the chest, gaze lifts up, but try not to stick the bum out here. So again, find that core muscle engagement, maybe a gentle tuck of the tailbone. As you exhale, come back to that variation of cow. So pressing the arms forward, chin comes towards the chest. Inhale as you open up. Cat pose. Take a few more rounds of this to the speed of your own breath. And we're doing ultimately the same thing as we do in our cat and cow, but just a slightly different angle. And add in anything here that feels good, so really allowing the movement to just be quite fluid. If you want to take a few circles, getting into the side body, that might also feel quite good. Make sure to go in both directions if you do that. And releasing the hands down. Again, if you need to shake or rotate the wrists, go ahead. And we'll come into a downward facing dog. So that inverted V shape, maybe pedal out the feet a little bit. Maybe pedal out the hands by bending the elbows. Really see how that feels. So dropping into the muscles rather than always stepping into this down dog, especially if you practice regularly. You often just step into this pose, you know it well, but try and do something a little bit different here today. Maybe that's making the feet a little bit wider. See how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, see how it feels to bring the hands into a different position. Keep tuning into that Ujjayi breath, that clearing, lovely Ujjayi breath. If you haven't done so already, bring yourself to stillness. And bring your feet together to touch it. Lift your right leg up. Reach the right heel backwards, so finding length through the whole of that right leg. Bend your right knee, open up your hips. Keep pressing hands down and forwards here. And see if you can lift your right knee a little bit higher. Straighten that leg back out behind you. And then step that foot all the way in between your hands. Reach your right arm up, take an easy twist. Open the chest, maybe gaze comes up towards the right hand. Big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, place both hands down, downward facing dog. Feet together to touch. Lift your left leg up this time. Again, start by finding that length. So really reaching the left foot backwards. Bend your left knee, open through the hips. See how it feels to lift the right heel higher, or if it feels more intense, lower the heel down. So play with that, maybe coming higher on that right foot, then lower down. Straighten that left leg back out behind you. Step it in between your hands, moving nice and slowly here. Reach the left fingertips up, take that easy twist. Don't sink into it, keep your right glute switched on. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, both hands down, downward facing dog. Walk your feet to your hands. And on an inhale, slowly, maybe keeping a bend in the knees, roll yourself up to standing. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. If you're ready for a small back bend, go ahead, open through the chest a little bit more here. And then exhale, bring your hands together at heart center, close down the eyes. If closing the eyes doesn't work today, maybe a soft gaze down towards the floor. And taking a moment, let's start our practice this afternoon by thinking of someone or something that we're grateful for right now. Allow that thought of gratitude to power you through this practice. Maybe let it guide you through the whole of your day. Open your eyes. Inhale to reach the arms up tall. Exhale to fold forwards. You can have a soft bend in the knees. Inhale to a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low plank. You can drop the knees if you need to. Inhale it to cobra or up dog, open the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. So even if I don't mention it, each time you take a vinyasa, you can choose which variation you take. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it all out, feet to hands, walk, step or float. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, rise up, reach arms tall. Exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog, or it's a cobra. Downward facing dog. Already noticing what your energy levels are like here. And then always bring your awareness back to your breath. Full breath in through the nose. And as you exhale it out, soften knees, gaze forwards, either walk, step, or float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Inhale, rise up, reach tall. Exhale, bow down. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank. You can step or float back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a couple of deep breaths in your down dog. If you need to sigh or shake anything out, go ahead. Feet to hands. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, rise up. And this time, exhale, hands together at heart center. Take a moment here. Bring your big toes together to touch. Bend your knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sit your hips low. See how low you can get your hips. Reach your fingertips up, but try not to stick the bum out. So keep that same curling, reaching of the tailbone down towards the floor. Maybe you bring your seat all the way down to the floor, finding your boat pose. Breathe here, shoulders relax. Chair pose, both feet down, lift back up, moving slowly today. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low plank, either step or float back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Press both feet down. Inhale as you rise up tall. Pausing here. And really checking in with your feet. So make sure you're pressing down with that outer edge of the back foot. Twisting the torso towards the front of the room. Fingertips are sparked up towards the ceiling. And try and keep your gaze focused on one spot. Can you bend into the front knee a little bit more? Big breath in. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Again, press both feet down. Allow that energy from the earth to lift up as you reach your fingers tall. Breathing here. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. Can you go into the pose a little bit more? Can you do anything here to make this pose work a little bit better for you? Maybe opening the legs. Inhale fully. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Couple of deep Ujjayi breaths. If you need to sigh, if that feels good right now, go ahead, breathe in through the nose, open the mouth and let it all go. Soften knees, gaze forwards as lightly, as softly as you can. Just jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Bend your knees, chair pose, one breath. Fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward, warrior one. Moving with your own breath now. Inhale, reach two. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Pressing down, rising two. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Notice what's happening to your breath, your mind as we start flowing through the practice. Allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to just be completely in the moment, letting go of anything that you don't need right now. Let's go for one more sun B. Big breath in through the nose. As you exhale, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Chair pose, go even deeper this time. Fold. Halfway lift. Low plank, step or maybe float back. Up dog or cobra, open the chest, squeeze the glutes. Downward facing dog. Right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise two. Low plank. One breath, one movement, upward facing. Downward facing. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, low plank. Not rushing through any of the poses. Often I find myself almost skipping my low plank, but make the most of each of the poses. That discipline we find in yoga. We're not only warming our body up with these movements, but we're also using our mind, using the repetition to find some discipline in our practice that we might be able to reflect into our day-to-day life. Bring your feet together to touch behind you. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hips. You can stay with this time, or maybe you flip all the way over to your flip dog. Press both feet down, lift the hips. If your shoulders are ready to drop into your wheel, go ahead. Moving slowly, you're going to spin over into a side plank. Right hand down, left arm up. Breathe here. Maybe lift that left leg. Stay with it. See if you can lift your hips a little bit higher. For 3. For 2. For 1, bend your left knee and step your left foot as close to that right hand as possible. Rise up to your crescent lunge. Find your breath here. Maybe you go into the pose a little bit deeper than normal by shoveling. Pushing that right foot further back. Losing my words today. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist towards your left. Press the elbow and thighs together and really spin that chest open. If you're feeling a little bit tired today, you might want to drop that back knee down. That's a great place to be as well. Maybe you open the arms, maybe you go for a bind. Moving slowly, come back to your present lunge, reach up tall. So to lean forwards, warrior 3. Flex your right toes back towards you. Reach fingertips back. From here, we're going to bend the left knee down. Straighten it back up. 2 more of those. Bend the left knee. Straighten it back. You might be wobbly and shaky like me. Bend it down. Lift it back. Gently step back, crescent lunge. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, hands to mat. Take a vinyasa or skip it out and go straight to your down dog, your choice. Feet to touch. Let's lift the left leg up this time. Bend the knee. Open up the hips. Again, choose. If this feels good today, just stay exactly where you are. Otherwise, flip your dog. If you're flipping, really try and have both feet flat to the floor, parallel, facing the back of the mat. Lift the hips a little bit higher. Moving as slowly as you can. Everyone flipping back, find your side plank. Left hand down, right arm up. Maybe you lift that top leg. For another 3. For 2. For 1, start to bend that right knee in towards your chest. And then step the right foot as close as you can to your left hand. Rise up, crescent lunge. Breathe here. If you're a little bit wobbly, maybe walk the right foot further towards the right. Again, you can choose. Maybe you drop the back knee or you keep it lifted. Maybe you try and lengthen your stance by can't get that one out today. By putting your back foot further back, it's the same problem as before. Hands together at heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting to your right this time. Press the palms into each other. Or open up the arms. Maybe you're ready for a bind, go ahead. Really think about stacking the right rib cage on top of the left. Feel your expansion in your stomach as you breathe. Maybe your stomach starts pressing on your thigh. And coming back to center, crescent lunge. Start to lean your way forwards, finding your warrior 3, aeroplane. Flex the left toes back towards you. Reach fingertips back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And we're going to go for that bend in the right knee this time. Bend the right knee. Straighten it back up. 2 more times. Bend the right knee. Straighten it up. Last one. Bend the right knee. Straighten it up. Aeroplane. Moving slowly, step back, crescent lunge, reach arms tall. Big breath in. Exhale through a vinyasa or skip it out. Step straight into your down dog. Might feel nice to take a little shake, a little twist. Maybe even a sigh. We're going to bring our attention to our arms and our shoulders a little bit here. So staying in your down dog, you're going to bend your elbows out towards the sides. So it feels a little bit weird. And then you tuck your elbows down so your forearms are hovering off the floor. Holding it here for 3, for 2, for 1, straighten back into your down dog. We're going to do that 2 more times. If you're confused, you can watch me do one. But we start in our down dog. Bend the elbows out towards the sides. Then tuck them under so the forearms hover off the floor. Staying with it for 3, for 2, for 1, lift back up, down dog. If your arms are too tired and you want a little break, feel free to come to a child's pose. Otherwise, we'll take 1 more like this. Bend the elbows out towards the sides. Scoop them under, forearms hover. Keep breathing for 3, for 2, for 1, downward facing dog. Notice how doing that really lights up your triceps, the underneath of your arms. Maybe you get it in your shoulders. If you're in child's pose, meeting us back in our down dog. Soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step or jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Feet together to touch. Bend your knees for a chair pose. I know we've done quite a lot in our legs today. Soon it will be giving them a nice rest. And I'm sure lots of you are spending a lot of your time seated at the moment, so it's good to get a bit of blood moving. And we're going to go for that same movement that we did at the beginning. So start to bend your knees so far down that you come all the way onto the mat. Boat pose. Find your balance, so you might need to shift a little bit if you don't quite get the right spot. Breathe here. Options to stay where you are or take a low boat. Options to keep arms alongside you or reach your arms up overhead. High boat. We're going to do that once more. You can join in or you can skip it out. When you're ready, low boat. Again, keep the hands either alongside or up towards the floor behind you. High boat. Breathing in. Release both feet onto the floor. And we're going to take a Malasana squat from here. So open your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Toes are pointing out. And today we're going to reach arms up. So it's quite easy to start sinking into this pose, especially if you have the flexibility in the hips. You can feel like, oh, it's quite comfortable to sit here. And today I want you to think about lifting, squeezing. So maybe your sort of seat bone is lifted a little bit higher off the mat and you reach your fingertips up. Breathe, Ujjayi breath. Option, stay where you are or crow pose. If you're going for a crow and you know where you're going, just go ahead and take a crow pose. If you would like to try it out and you don't know where you're going, hands come flat to the floor, spreading the fingers wide. We're going to really think about pressing into the fingertips. Lift the hips up, big toes together to touch. Bend through the elbows and start to lean your weight onto your upper arm bones. And then start to lift the feet. Maybe you just lift up one foot. Maybe you lift up both feet. If both feet are lifted, try and keep big toes touching and see if you can lift them a little higher. Press the earth away. Wherever you are breathing deeply. We're going to stay for another 3, for 2, for 1. If you have a shoot back, if you have no idea what a shoot back is, I'm going to demo it now. But if you have one, go for that shoot back. If you want to watch one, I'm going to do one now. So I lean my weight forwards and then I kick back into a low plank. Sort of, my arms are a little bit tired today. Meeting in a down dog, however you get there, when you are ready. Step your right foot forwards, warrior 1. Inhale, rise up. And stay with your warrior 1 feet, but interlace your fingers at your sacrum. Find an inhale, open the chest, really reach the fingertips back. Exhale, humble warrior, bring the crown of the head down towards the floor on the inside of that right foot. Keep pressing the left foot down. Breathe into that right hip or wherever it is you're feeling it. Maybe in your shoulders you're getting it a bit more. On an inhale, rise back up, warrior 1. And from your warrior 1, we're going to take a pyramid pose. So, stepping your back foot in and out slightly and straightening both legs. So, bring both hands onto your hips and make sure they're facing the front of the room so you're not twisting one way or the other. The space in between your feet is about the length of one of your legs. Grab opposite hand to opposite elbow, or maybe go for a reverse namaste if you have that in your practice. Inhale, we're going to open the chest. Exhale, fold forwards. Pyramid pose. Gaze can be down towards the floor or towards your shin. And again, it's the same as in our humble warrior. Even though we're really leaning our weight forwards, keep pressing down with the back foot. If the sensation in that right hamstring is too much, then maybe a little bend in the right knee is going to help you. Take a halfway lift, so make your back flat as if we were taking a vinyasa, and then start to shift your weight into that front foot. Lift your back foot, and you're in your warrior 3. Keep the hands interlaced behind you. From here, let go of the hands, bring them together at heart center. We're going to take a half moon, so right hand reaches down, left arm reaches up. Flex those left toes back towards you. And you can choose here if you stay with your hands on the floor, or maybe you reach your right fingertips off the floor, coming into a suspended half moon. Use your core muscles. Make sure you're breathing. Keep that left leg lifted. Bring both hands towards the floor, standing splits. You can stay on fingertips, flat palms, or maybe you grab your standing ankle with one or both hands. Think about your tummy button, pull it in and up towards the spine as you lift back into your warrior three. Make your way back up to standing, both feet down. You might need to shake it out a little bit. Release it out. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior one. Again, keeping the feet where they are, interlace your fingers behind you. Find that opening, really squeeze the shoulder blades together, open through the chest, and then come down and forwards, humble warrior. With the intention that the crown of the head will touch the floor at some point. It might feel like a crazy idea today. It might happen for the first time today. You never know. Have that intention in your mind. On your next inhale, rise all the way back up to your warrior one. And we're going to set up for our pyramid pose again. So stepping that back foot in and out slightly. Check in with the hips. Make sure they're facing forward. So it's very tempting to have one sort of backwards, but really find that squaring off of the hips. Opposite hand to opposite elbow, but try and reverse your grip. So if you always have one hand underneath, see if you can place the other hand underneath. Inhale, be open, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, folding over that front leg. Awareness on your hips here, so think about pulling your right hip forwards and pushing your left hip backwards. Again, if you need a little bend in that front knee, go ahead. It might give you more access into the pose. Start to lean your, take a halfway lift first. Let's do it properly. So flat back. And then start to lean the weight into that front foot. Lift the back foot up in your warrior three. Keep your arms where they are. Reach your right heel backwards. And then bring your hands together at heart center. Left hand reaches down towards the floor, block, or whatever you might be using. And we'll take a half moon. Right fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. Again, you can choose if you stay here, or maybe try and lift the left fingertips off the floor. Use your strong Ujjayi breath here. Keep that leg lifted, bring both hands down, standing splits. Stay on fingertips, flat palms, grab that standing ankle with one or both hands. See if you can lift your right leg a little bit higher. Again, find the engagement of your core muscles as you lift yourself up into your warrior three. Use a wall if you have one near you and you need it. And release both feet to the mat. Shake it out, take any movement here. Getting quite hot today. Can't tell if it's the weather or if it's the class. You'll have to let me know. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, we reach up tall. Exhale, just fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Holding your high plank. You can drop your knees here if you need to. We're going to hold this high plank for a minute. But don't let that scare you off. So if you think you can't do it, just don't think about the timings. Think about each part of your body. So pressing the fingertips down. Pulling the core muscles in and up, engaging muscles in the legs. All of this engagement is going to make your whole body feel a lot lighter. And then as you inhale, you make yourself feel lighter. And as you exhale, you just release any sensation that you don't need here, any wobbles, any shakes. So inhale, you find that lightness in the body. Exhale, you find a release. Keep going like this. You don't have much longer left. Last 5 seconds. And we'll push back, downward facing dog. If you need a child's pose now or at any moment, go ahead and take your child's pose. Soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step or float to your hands and make your way to lying on your back. You might take a sigh of relief. We are on our backs. We are starting to wind things down. Nearly starting to wind things down. Lift your feet up towards the ceiling. You can have your hands either alongside you or underneath your seat bones. And we're just going to breathe here for a couple of breaths. Sometimes staying in stillness in these poses is actually more challenging than going into the more advanced movements. And I actually find that often with lots of yoga poses. Once you've found the more advanced part of your practice, you sometimes neglect the basics. And it's often the basics that really builds the strength that you need. Interlace your fingers underneath your head this time and lift your head and shoulders up off the mat. And we're going to take some scissor kicks. So let your right leg drop down towards the floor. Lift it up as you drop the left leg. We're going to do this for 10, 9, 8, make sure you're breathing, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a break if you need it by hugging the knees in, otherwise keep your feet lifted. We're going to do 10 more of those. So when you're ready, lift the legs up and let's go for 10, 9, 8, keep breathing, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, hug both knees in. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Let's take a happy baby. Grab the outer edges of your feet. Maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe some of you have the space in your hamstrings to straighten one leg at a time. Enjoy that sensation of release after working hard. Let's release both feet towards the floor and take a thread the needle. Right ankle over left thigh. Grabbing either the underneath of the right thigh or the outer edge of that right shin. Left shin even. So the left knee is coming in towards you, right ankle is on the left thigh. Tuning back into your breath if you've lost it. And sometimes it can be a bit challenging just sitting with one pose, staying in stillness, especially for those of you that are used to a more dynamic or power practice. Slowing things down can often leave you feeling a little bit agitated, like you want to keep moving. But really try and focus that energy onto your breath here. And releasing this side, come straight onto the other side. So left ankle over right thigh. Grabbing either the underneath or the outer edge of your right leg. This time you're pulling your right knee in towards you. And we're looking for a stretch, some tension through that left glute. Notice if that tension is creeping up anywhere else. Your forehead, jaw, shoulders. Maybe even bring some softness to the face. And we're going to release this side. And grab the underneath of your thighs and just rock yourself up to seated. Feet flat to the floor, hands come behind you, fingertips facing towards you. Press down with the feet and the hands, lift up into a tabletop, reverse tabletop. And you can choose, so if you keep your head upright, you can look up towards the ceiling. So either straight in front of you with the gaze up towards the ceiling, or you can let your head hang heavy. Totally up to you, whatever works for you, but really think about pressing the feet down and lifting the hips, so squeezing the glutes. Notice how the shoulders feel in this pose. So we're using a slightly different group of muscles. And then gently releasing down. Coming all the way to a seated position, feet out in front of you. We'll take a little hamstring stretch. So make sure you're right on your seat bones. Inhale as you reach the arms up, find that length through the center, sides of the body. And then lean forwards, let your hands rest wherever they comfortably reach. You're not trying to force anything here, so just going as far into the fold as you need to. But keep that chest open, leading with the center of the chest. If you always go with straight legs, maybe today you go for a little bend in the knees. Notice how that feels. Maybe you get it in a different area of the legs, maybe you feel it more in the lower back. And we'll release this one, coming up to seated and winding down to lying on your back. One last time, hug knees in towards your chest. If your body needs a supine twist or any other movement, please go ahead. Otherwise, bring your forehead up towards your knees. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Big, big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. Come to lying on your back. If you are finishing up with a twist or any other movement, meeting us in Shavasana whenever you are ready. So find a nice comfortable position, close down the eyes. You've worked hard today, you've given yourself this time, this space, physically and mentally. Enjoy the sensations that are going on now. And any temptation to move, to fidget, see if you can just hold off just for a couple of minutes. Enjoy the rest. Enjoy the stillness. Start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead and just start waking the body back up. Ready for your afternoon ahead, the last couple of days of your week, whatever that has in store. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position. And then make your way up nice and slowly to a seated or a kneeling position, hands together at heart center, eyes are closed. Lift your thumb knuckles up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. As always, any questions, feedback, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, day and week, and I'm back live on here on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Thank you.